I feel like I see things which are not there. I thought the rain would be the hardest part of this hike. I was wrong. Today we will see my body wasn't what failed me. My mind did. If you missed part 1, you can watch it afterwards. I catch you up. I was stranded there by heavy rain, and finally I struggled to find a camping spot where I heard some strange crying. I've heard a weird cry. As we will see today, more unexpected is waiting on the path. I'm just hoping this crossing is now open. I'm not feeling very well. I made it through the night and I am back on the path. The idea is to make it as close as possible to Yeton. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've been pretty much just meters from the path. This is where I was. The church and the cemetery was very close to me. No ghosts overnight. I think that crying was an animal and it was before I went to sleep. I actually felt really safe there. So I'm thinking to just walk quite a bit right now and get as far as I can. I have started feeling sore and backpack felt very heavy. Second day is always difficult, but strong sun and open fields didn't help feeling lighter. This smells really nice here. Got grass drying. Okay, it's really hot, but I'm hoping at least all my things dry. So I've just found out that I lost leg on a tripod. I walked all the way back almost where the frog was, but as it looks like it got completely ripped. So I've decided to have a break. There's this headstone. I don't know what it says. It's interesting because it's a field, though. I wonder who it belongs to. But I'm drying my stuff there while I have a little break. I'm actually wondering, lost leg is a sign for me to don't waste too much time with videos. These journeys are always about improvising. Either it is such a small thing as lost tripod leg or your clothes getting completely wet. It's a learning to go with the flow and expect unexpected. I was lucky that today was a warm day. And once again, it felt like the path was taking care of me. I tried to convince myself how great it is. It is so warm. At least I could dry my wet clothes and shoes. Such a start meant, though, that I was walking in the peak of the strongest sun. And I surely felt it. Hi, ladybug. Ooh, that's really tickly. Where are you going? Okay, you can be on the backpack. Here I have entered fields which are not ordinary fields. Many of those witnessed numerous battles over the centuries, and the headstone I've seen earlier might be related to such as well. So here on this field was a battlefield. Like here tried to two kingdoms solve their disputes over 10 years, but they didn't manage. They still fight until the big fight here. And the legend says that there was a maiden who went to the battle because her fiancé was there. She went with a sword and got killed. Liliard, I think. She represents all the brave women of that time. The sunshine brought the landscape to life, making every view feel even more beautiful. But as the hours passed, I could feel the heat slowly taking its toll. Oh, I really need shade. It's nice that it's warm and things can get dry. I don't want rain, but it's a lot of sun. There are these old trees here. I slowly reached the section with these beautiful old trees. Seeing so many headstones along the path, the last resting places here felt quite special. So originally, if I would made it, I was thinking camping here in this forest. It's really nice. It's a shame I didn't make it here. filter is great. It takes forever. Oh, look at this. I was supposed to be here yesterday, but I didn't make that, so I just wished it now, and it's already 4 o'clock afternoon. I see what I get. While having a very late lunch, I hoped I still have few hours to press forward, but everything changed very quickly. After a long filtering break, I walked along the path surrounded by these very old trees. It's fascinating, as I am used to see such only in botanic gardens, no doubt on hikes. The whole St. Cuthbert's trail feels like encountering the vibe of Borders region. It follows a monk but passes through battlefields with a lot of stories left behind, abandoned settlements, and old gardens full of ancient botanical trees probably belonging to the rich of those times. The whole bridge is moving. As I turned left here and the fields and clouds above opened up in front of me, I just heard a thunder. Okay, I made a spur-of-the-moment decision. I'm going back to Ankrom because there's a storm exactly behind me where I was going towards, and I'm not willing to do that. I hear the thunders and I'm not really up for that tonight, and I was going directly into that. I don't want to, so adrenaline kicked in. I'm sped up. I'm going back to Ankrom. I just called the camping site there and I'm gonna stay there tonight. There's another one towards my left, and what worries me is that if they meet, it's gonna be not pretty. It's just literally behind me. Still far, I don't see any lightning, but it's coming this way. It's definitely getting stronger. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it on time. We'll see. I'm just hoping this crossing is now open. Yes, thank God. I think I'm gonna make it. We found out that the campsite is 2 more miles past the village. I think I escaped the storm at least. This is a tough 2 miles. 1 more mile. Always the last mile. I finally reached the campsite, and as soon as I built up the tent in rush, it started raining. Okay, I just made it to a campsite. I'm glad I wasn't caught up in this coming here. Just as I built the tent, the storm came. I just wanted to be done. I wanted to go have a shower. It seemed as the storm truly held up until I had the tent ready. I went to have a shower and got a glimpse of what was around. It was raining, but it seemed both storms went the direction I was supposed to walk, and they passed the campsite just very slightly. It stopped raining for a minute and I made a quick dinner. The rain returned, even some thunders, but it felt as a safe place for the night. I just left campsite. I didn't take much videos there. It's always weird around people. Walking back to Ankrom. I'm glad I made this decision, even though these 2 miles extra, maybe 3 miles until I pass Ankrom, is a bit of a bummer, but it doesn't seem too hot today, so hopefully no storm tonight. I stopped in Ankrom to put some plasters on as it started to be painful and my shoe was wet. So basically now I'm at the spot where I turned yesterday. So I left the campsite at about 10 and it's quarter to 12 now, so it added almost 2 hours to my journey. I just met some locals. I'm glad now I stayed in a campsite because they said the storm was really heavy yesterday. So I'm just quickly gonna have a lunch and keep going. It just to give me a bit of boost. I'm really sore, I have to say. It's just past 1 o'clock. There's a little lunch. I was thinking to have a lunch here. I didn't know there's gonna be a lunch hut, but it's very appropriate. I need to get a water. Here's a stream, but it's really brown. I'm hoping it's just muddy. That's why it's so brown, but it doesn't smell bad. The filter seemed to clear up the water, but I will be questioning this image later on. And so I continued on my journey climbing up. This was quite a hill to climb, but the views are pretty. That bird up there seems to be telling me something. I don't know. Hello. I just met another hiker and he was apparently outdoors yesterday through the storm, which was really bad. I'm so glad because I felt a bit bad that I lost 2 hours today with that campsite being so far away. It's the second time today someone telling me, and that was someone who actually camped outdoors. I could finally relax. Weather forecast did not predict another storm for a few days, and the stress of the past night slowly went away. Even more seeing these beautiful views. Oh, about here. Oh yeah. I think those hills in front of me, that's where I'm going. I walked through forests, fields, and slowly getting closer to the hills. I was tired and done for today at this point, expecting finding camping spot very soon. But things always change. So I'm having a tiny break by the tower. Drink some water, be a little bit in the shade because I've been on the sun a lot, and I'll just walk a little bit further, and that's gonna be me for today anyway. That was what I originally thought. I had to walk about 5 extra miles all the way to Morbattle and past it on paved roads where it was impossible to find a camping spot, until I finally entered the hills and found a spot for tonight. I finally found a place. I was walking like good 5 miles on the roads and there was nowhere to find to camp. This is not great either. Tonight is meant to be quite quiet. Yeah, much farther than I thought I'm gonna be. I'm very tired. Like I didn't expect to be this far in the hills anyway. Oops. The last 5 miles I didn't really record much. I was just walking on a road, on a B road. It just was never ending. I was ready to almost 3 hours before I found actual camp to stop. I have blisters on my feet and I was hoping to stop a bit earlier today. And I got even farther now, which is good. I made progress, but I didn't expect to be camping in the hills like this. I'll be fine. I already passed through a village where I was hoping to do a shopping. Shop was closed, running out of food. Good night. As you can hear, I was extremely exhausted and just ate dinner and got ready for bed. There's a pigeon up in the tree. I like hearing them. It makes me feel safe. As there were many of them domesticated before we had all phones and stuff. They keep close to people's settlements and cities, and they feel loyal to people. This is not the most comfy spot. It's a bit sliding down. It will do for one night. The mood of the hills reflected my own. I woke up into a difficult morning. Today morning I woke up with a little bit weird tummy. It might be exhaustion, maybe water, maybe the sun. I feel quite weak. I barely recorded any packing videos because I was just not well. I'm all packed up. It took me much longer than I expected. I'm not feeling very well. My brain feels very foggy. I made some mistakes as I was packing, and like the things I normally would think about, I just didn't. That's a cow. I'm gonna go across these little hills. If it's gonna feel as too much struggle, I might, I don't know. I don't feel okay. I really want to sit now. Oh, okay, this feels better. My tummy still feels very weird, like on water. I feel like puking a little bit, so it might be a combination of things. Exhaustion. I was really tired yesterday. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe the water somewhere. I took a water from like a bathroom in a more bottle, which I consider to be drinkable, but I'm not sure now. So I'm gonna see how I feel when I cross these hills. To this day, this was the hardest experience I had in the hills. It wasn't just tiredness of my body, but it felt as my own mind gave up on me. Everything's absolutely wet. This is the path I'm going through. Hi sheep. So that's where I'm heading, and on the top and over. Whew, I feel quite weak. The backpack's okay. It doesn't feel heavy today anymore, but I feel really weak. Today I just had an apple and brioche, and I feel like if I would have anything more liquidy, my stomach wouldn't hold it. Whew, so that's where I came from. I just came up to that little pool. I feel like my mind is weird. Something's not right. In the morning I was making such a silly mistakes. Now I feel like I see things which are not there. It's just there are stones, and I feel like there are sheep looking at me, but they're stones. Something's not completely right. Yeah, I just gonna try to get to Yathlom, and I might stop. My mind not working here on the highest point of the journey, surrounded by milky mist, it all felt quite scary, but somehow meaningful in the same time. I had to face the fear of losing control and being on my own. All I could do is keep going. This is really beautiful here. It looks like flowers, but they're actually raindrops. Normally here would be beautiful views, I think. It feels very isolated here. I know the people are not far. There are farms around down the hill. I slept not far from a gate. I didn't hear any walkers walking by, and I haven't met still anyone. Yeah, I'm keeping burping. I'm at the highest point of the path right now, and halfway in between Melrose and Lindisfarne. Here on this path happens something magical, which I will share with you as soon as I descend from the hills. I don't believe in God in traditional way anymore, and I am not religious, but I do believe there is something bigger than us, and it's everywhere around, in nature, in other people, and within us. I finally descended from the hills and from the clouds so I could reflect on what happened. I can't stay here long because it's really cold and my feet are completely wet. Wanted to just very quickly say what happened up there. I don't have anything on camera. It was very personal moment, I think. As I was walking, I was thinking, what should I do next? Should I stay in Yethlon one day and still try to make it? And I was going up and down. Should I go? Should I stop and go home because I'm not feeling okay? As you remember, I mentioned at the start, this is not a pilgrimage for me. I just asked, I said to myself, Cuthbert, it's your path, so what would you do? I just heard inside of me, really, if I would even give it a day break and I would still continue, then that's a part of me which wants to prove something, but I don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. This scenario, right answer for me, it might not be for everyone, but for me right now here is to stop and go home. And I will try to do the second half another time. I know this sounds crazy and maybe you don't understand, and that's okay. Unintended pilgrimage became my own awakening. I was carrying old wounds and struggles, and finally I could let go. I have physically experienced the purge of what's not serving me anymore, even if that means giving up. The reality is, I gained part of myself back again.